Hello, this is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Tonight's movie is Cheerleader Beach Party from 1978. Now, the DVD that you're looking at here is actually a double DVD, thin case, official release, double DVD by East West DVD. And the other side shows the other movie that's on here, CB Hustlers, which I'll review in the future. So there are no special features on here, but you do get cover art specifically for this film. Now, as far as I know, this film does have a release individually on Amazon. I believe it's a DVD-R though. Yeah, so there's not like a a big remastered jam-packed type of release for this film with features and stuff. I believe there's a DVD-R release on Amazon, but it's not like some major release. This is a hard to find film, and this copy on here for this East West DVD definitely looks like it's from VHS, and it's not a bad copy, except that it's dark at times. It's hard to make out certain characters or things like the VHS tapes when you'd be renting them back in the day. It says in the top, score with the girls, cheerleader beach party. 4 amorous cheerleaders set out to save their ailing college football team by huddling up on the beach with the rival team and scoring. Cheerleader beach party. This is a pretty interesting film, pretty wild cheerleader film in the canon, a pretty unique entry in the cheerleader genre. We have 4 main girls, and their names are right there. We have 4 main girls: Jamie Jensen, Lynn Hastings, Gloria Upson, and Shoshana Asher. Yes, and some of them will probably be featured on my Facebook page as I showcase some untalked about actors and actresses from these films. Cheerleader Beach Party is essentially, as you saw from what I just read, what you heard, is 4 cheerleaders who are basically trying to save their college football team and trying to make sure that their players don't get taken up by a rival team. Now, I do say college cheerleaders because they're even mentioned as college cheerleaders, and these girls definitely could not pass for high school, and maybe they could be a tiny bit older than college also, depending. This is a film that has some it's all original music. It looks like that was just made for this film. We have a great kind of disco theme. We got some disco music in this film. This is 78. We got disco music in this film. We got some country tracks in this film. And we got some just real good upbeat music, a great opening title sequence montage. It seems to be, something that is always very hard-hitting and essential for this genre of teensploitation or cheerleader films, so on and so forth. Also, the ending credits sequence is great too. Now, you got some football sequences in this film, but you also, in this particular film, have hijinks. You have some, fun hijinks type humor. There's even a fart at one point in this film, and there's, as these girls are you're kind of going on this adventure as these girls are trying to save their team by any means necessary. And yes, it does involve sex, but it also involves rampaging a party, trying to destroy a party, and also trying to be ghosts in a supposed haunted house. So we have some really wild sequences in this film, and I want to mention that the sequence of the party, which is at this really cool looking mansion with a pool, just a real cool, almost 80s looking mansion, but obviously it's late 70s. And just the vibe, this film definitely looks like it was filmed in California. I guess it could be Miami, but it definitely looks like California to me, just gives that vibe. There's, zany characters in this film. There's wild characters in this film. But there's just a great, when they rampage the party, it involves drugs. It involves spiking with alcohol. And it just involves just total insanity. There's an older, heavier set woman from the rival team who just lets loose in a dance sequence and just being kind of sexual, and it's just freaking hilarious. She's great in this movie, whoever she is. And then, of course, we also have this really bizarre with some horror music. You can see it in the ending title sequence. The song is something called Spooks or something. you have this like this sequence where the girls are trying to haunt this house that's supposedly haunted. You almost have this like little brief haunted house sequence, which reminds me a little bit of sometimes some of the sequences that you'll see in films like this. There's a film called Cherry Hill High that I'll be reviewing in the future as well, where all of a sudden you get this like weird sci-fi horror type of vibe for a section of the film because of something that's happening in the movie, and it almost is like in a way crossing genres in some bizarre way. Now, cheerleader films, of course, you have so many different cheerleader films, predominantly from the 70s. Obviously, the Kingpins, you have, the 73, I believe, Cheerleaders, which I'll be reviewing at some point, and you also have Return to the Cheerleaders and things like that, Return of the Cheerleaders and stuff like that. This film is rather tame in the sexual department. I mean, you have you have toplessness, but it's not full on all the time. I mean, it's side, the back. You have a lot of bikini scenes. You have a lot of underwear and bra scenes. You do have a couple crazy, like a couple nude shower scenes in the first 20 minutes of the film, weirdly enough. It's like, well, we're back in the shower again. Some interesting things there. It's basically all breasts. You're not seeing anything, below the belt. There is one section of the film that is probably the most like sexual, when all the girls are involved in this sexual sequence, and you do see a thong there, and there's moaning and things like that. So there's like one sequence in particular that like kind of comes out of nowhere where you're like, oh wow, this scene's a little bit wilder, but for the most part, I mean, we even have a side love story and some romance in the film. And there is actually, because you would think you're watching the film for the majority of the film, you're like, why is it called Cheerleader Beach Party? There actually is, and turns out to be, a cheerleader beach party in the film, which is actually a pretty wild sequence also, which holds a kind of a striptease sequence on the beach, which is really nice too, and adds to more of the sexuality of the film. And the four girls, they, mostly short hair, which is very interesting too, especially for this, for 1978, I guess, in some ways. But, they're attractive. They're attractive girls. They exude a good sexual energy, for a cheerleader film, and their cheerleader outfits are, it's not like the skirts are too high up, but you're still getting a lot, if you like knees, if you like thighs. There's even a great sock sequence for the sock people out there. No, but, amongst the cheerleader genre, this would be definitely less explicit than the other ones out there. There is a shadowy sunset romance scene in the film where it looks like somebody is going below the belt, but it's really no elongated sex scenes or explicit sex scenes at all. Like I said, there's nothing below the belt that you're seeing. But the girls really seem like they're having a good time in this film, which is essential for a cheerleader film. There's a stolen car. There's like this running story that goes throughout the film that on this copy is kind of hard to see sometimes, but there's a running story that kind of deals with a stolen vehicle that comes back in fruition at the end of the film in kind of a funny way. These types of films. There's nothing really dark in this film. Sometimes you might get that with a rape or things like that, but there's nothing dark in this film. This is a fun cheerleader film trying to rescue the team. Although, in terms of gender issues, today this film would be considered completely politically incorrect, as these girls are using their bodies, their sexuality, their womanhood, to basically get guys to do what they want. It's that kind of film. And some people might find it empowering, for women to be doing this also. So it could be almost looked at as a feminist film. You have two sides of the angle. Great music, very simple editing, nothing crazy here. Simple shots, very 70s sexploitation type shooting, I guess I could say. The cinematography is not sleazy, and really they're not zooming in on girls' body parts or things like that. So this cheerleader film is definitely, like I said, less explicit. We do have hijinks, we do have comedy, we do have humor in this film. Some of the characters are hilarious in this film. There's one guy that keeps saying "yes, ma'am" in the film, and like I said, the older woman at the party that gets rampaged is hilarious. And there are sequences at the party that are very funny too. They keep pushing people into the pool. So this film does incorporate humor, and some football sequences as well, but not too much football if you're not into sports. So anyway, folks, this is Cheerleader Beach Party, directed by Alex E. Goyden. says it right there. This was great. Score with the girls. Now these girls that are on the cover here are not the girls that are in the film. But it's great artwork. This is a really good artwork, but they're not in the film. And but this is good. If you like what you heard, definitely check out this rare. I would say this is one of the rarest cheerleader films out there. Just because this is one you won't hear of, this is one that won't make the lists. It's definitely low budget, and you can kind of sense that. But I don't know how much of that is like the copy, is the VHS copy, and the kind of the transfer from East West DVD. But you can pick up this double here with CB Hustlers. I got this on Amazon or used, or you can get it on eBay. You can find it, and it's fairly cheap. Cheerleader Beach Party, actually released, I believe, September 1978. There you go, folks. Loved it. Great times. Love the cheerleader movies. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Please feel free to check out my other reviews on this page and my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you so much for watching as I talk about films that I believe are not being talked about enough on the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Thank you and good night.